I'm Sally Gardner, and with me is Jemima McKenna. On behalf of Global Reconciliation, an international organisation that promotes dialogues and seeks areas of common interest across differences of region, culture, gender and religion, we're delighted today to talk with and to recognise the work of Tambudzai, Muzenda. Tambu, who is from South Africa, is co-recipient of Global Reconciliation's Desmond Tutu Reconciliation Fellowship 2020. Tambu has received the award for her outstanding work in supporting men and women of her country to undertake uncomfortable conversations, in particular, in order to undo the norms of gender-based violence. Tambu, it has been a privilege and a pleasure to have had this opportunity to get to know you. Can you share with us an experience that was significant in leading you to undertake the work that you do?
Absolutely. It's a personal experience where a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, when we were in high school, was unwell, and I know that she had then left school. She dropped out of school, got married, and suffered quite a lot of gender-based violence. And along with that, she also subsequently passed on due to complications with HIV. So that was what sparked my work. There was silence around gender-based violence. There was silence around intimate and partner violence. There was huge stigma at the time around HIV. We couldn't even talk about it. We called it AIDS. We called it a foreign disease. And that sparked the work that I do to just really find a place that we can begin to talk about such things that affect our communities.
Thank you.
Tambu, your work takes place both at a grassroots level in the everyday life of communities and at the level of governments, policies and lawmaking. Can you share with us a project or achievement about which you feel particularly proud?
I'm very proud about the work that I've done over the last few years, in particular with the concept around uncomfortable conversations. I think for the longest time, we'd had policies around sexual and reproductive health rights. We had talked about HIV prevention, but there was such a barrier in really realizing the effects of policy. And I began uncomfortable conversations with you sort of said, gatekeepers, your religious leaders and traditional leaders. And we had a breakthrough because we began to involve them in this conversation. We began to tap into what they understand. And sometimes, what you don't know until you know. And so that's what it was, being able to cultivate what policies are talking to and bring it to a community that doesn't understand policy, but bringing experiences that happen in their communities around children who are dying from complications of fistula, for example, young people who were getting infected with HIV because there wasn't access to health services of that nature. So that was such an important part to see how conversations at a community level and policy do make a difference to the experiences of the work that we can do. So that's everyday work that I do, and to absolutely find a way to work together collectively. Yeah.
Thank you. Tambu, like millions of other women and men, you've been living through the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you share with us something of how your work's been challenged and how you've had to adapt during this time?
When COVID, the onset of COVID in my country, I think the second week after lockdown, we had about 87,000 incidences of IPV and gender-based violence that were reported. And that was quite a horror for a country that already has statistics that are very high. I mean, we call the rape capital of the world because of the immense and grave issues around gender-based violence. And we really saw a way to propel ourselves. So we went digital. We began having conversations online. We had to adapt You know, we had not worked with people online before, but we found a way to work with communities as best as we could, bring communities online to talk about this. And I have to tell you, something that we did so well was, in that time, we also produced 2 documentaries that highlighted the importance of collective thought with communities, as well as some of the challenges that people were facing. So we were able to do that under the protocols, and of course, they were all observed during our documentaries. And so that's powerful to be able to tell the stories of what was happening on the ground. So that's what we did. We had to adapt technology and finding places to begin new conversations. Yeah.
And in light of the many years during which you've worked tirelessly on gender-based issues, can you reflect briefly on any development or developments that make you optimistic about the future?
Yeah, you know, at such a time when we've been in crisis, actually being unable to do the work that we do on site, on the ground, working with communities, I think we've learned to be resilient. We have had to think new ways of how we can work. The work that we did in the communities during lockdown, the way we engage with different women in different communities, the way we use digitization really at all levels to capacitate, to share knowledge, to support women on the ground, tells me that there is a greater work that we can do together, tells me that there was a desire to live, a desire to make a change. There was such a struggle to say we're going to make it. And that says to me, people are hopeful. People see the future. People are fighting for the future when we are actually able to bring new knowledges, bring new ideas. It says to me, we're thinking about a future that we can work together and do better. So for me, with funding, with allowing communities themselves to take charge of their ideas and their thoughts, I see that as an opportunity for governments. I see that as an opportunity for communities, for sustainability, to work even better. So I'm hopeful. My work during this season has told me people are ready to move forward because they can. They've learned the hard way and they've had hearty ideas to do better. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Tambu. It's been such an honour to be able to recognise your work on the occasion of International Women's Day 2021. For those who'd like to find out more about Tambu and her work, please visit our website, globalreconciliation.org. Thank you so much.